this is Scott. Today I'm gonna be making a Sisters of Battle video. This is gonna be like a tips and tricks. This is gonna be like a what you should and shouldn't do kind of video. And I noticed in my last video there's this black bar on the right side. The black bar isn't there when I record on my PC, but this black bar is here when I record on my laptop. So I think this is just a laptop thing. Alright, anyways. That's that. So I don't have a lot of hours in Sisters Battle, but I've been playing them like non-stop for the last 3 days or so. So there we go. That's more appropriate. So yeah, this is like a video. This is like a tips and tricks video. I'm gonna tell you what to do, what not to do, stuff like that. So I'll do it on this map, or should I do it on the other one? I think I'll do it on this one, just for, nah, I like Blood River. Blood River is my favorite map. So I was gonna do, Fear for variety, but let's just do Blood River. So yeah, this is just gonna be a tips and tricks, video. So, hopefully you learned something. Okay. So, alright. So I'm gonna say this off the bat, Sisters is one of the easier factions to use. They do have a lot of weird mechanics, and I'll talk in depth about those. And I'll say this right off the bat while we're waiting. Most of the units are pretty good, so it shouldn't be a super long video. We'll see. I'm not sure what I talked about in my other videos, my other sister videos, so I'm just gonna review everything. Yeah, I'm just gonna discuss. This is a video discussing the units, some tactics, how the ability works for people who don't play a lot of sisters. So I'm just gonna explain how everything works and some strategies you can do. This is gonna be similar to my first how to play video, but this time I'll be telling you what not to do, right? So this is gonna be a little bit more complicated. Alright, so for this video, I'm just gonna assume you know how to play the game. I'm gonna assume you watched the other two videos. I'm not gonna explain how the resources work. I'm not gonna explain how to play the game. I'm just gonna tell you how sisters work. Alright, so you got your builder unit. He has an ability. I'll talk about that later. So first I'll make the barracks. I'll start off like normal, just so I can talk about stuff. This is your barracks. This is your HQ. Your barracks is by far your most important building. So, and I'll talk more about that later. Like, this is by far your most important building. Your armory and your vehicle building isn't that important, but this building is definitely. Sisters of Battle is definitely a infantry faction. You shouldn't vehicle spam with sisters. It doesn't work. So yeah, you should definitely. It's a infantry focus. It's an infantry focus faction. So vehicles. You shouldn't focus too much on vehicles when you play sisters. Alright. So I'll go ahead and make all the buildings just so I can talk about them. Just go ahead and make one of each.
Sworn ever to your service when at peace and when at war.
Okay. So I think now I can start actually talking about stuff. Alright. So Sister Squad, they're 140 resources.
With the Emperor's creed in hand.
Okay.
Inspire me.
So, alright, here we go. So, Sisters of Battle, they're 140 resources. They're dirt cheap. They're a lot cheaper than the Space Marines. They're like Space Marines in every way. They have the same morale. They have the same everything. But they just have less stats. They have like less. They have half the health, half the damage. So they're like Space Marines, but they're half as strong. Hold on,
I humbly await
I'll be right back.
to specification, if you will.
There we go.
I am equipped for that.
By the Emperor's light, I lead.
And the quality of this video is off.
Inspire me.
This isn't my usual setup, so my setup is a bit different. So the video might be a little off. All right. So sisters, you can upgrade them with flamethrowers. If you build the armory, you can upgrade them with flamethrower. They can have 3. Normally, is 2. So they have 1 more than usual. And the flamethrower is definitely a damage increase. So getting it is I'm recording! I told you I'm recording! Get out!
Sorry, I lost my temper.
It's okay.
Said nasty.
Now I gotta edit this.
Good, edit it.
It's gonna take me like an hour to edit this.
Well, you shouldn't have kicked me out.
I told you I told you I gotta record.
I wasn't listening. How's that?
Okay, that's fair. So, sisters, they have the flamethrower upgrade. It's definitely a damage increase. You have to build the armory to get it. It's pretty good. It makes the sisters a lot better. But sisters are so fragile that getting it is honestly not worth it. As soon as you get it, the girls will die, and you'll lose the upgrade. They also have the heavy bolter upgrade. That's the level 2 upgrade. It's pretty good. The superior. If you get the superior without upgrades, it's not very. It's not very useful. If you get the superior without the upgrades, they're basically useless. To be honest with you. So this I wouldn't really recommend getting. This is pretty good, and this I wouldn't recommend getting it. And I wouldn't recommend getting this unless you have upgrades. I'll go ahead and upgrade them so you can see what they look like. Missionary is probably your most important unit in your sister army. They do very poor damage, but they have excellent vision. As you can see, they have very excellent. It's hard to show you, but they have really excellent vision. They can see like over here, which is really useful. So their vision is really good. They're also detectors, so they can detect invisible units, which is very useful. Now, it's a melee focused unit, but you can put him in range stance. He does have a gun, so you can use him in range stance. So he's a very useful scout. He's very useful at detecting. He's 75 resources. and he's
I remain
very useful.
pure.
He comes with this ability, and I'll explain this ability later on. It's this ability here. This is an ability I use all the time when I play Sisters, so I'll explain that later. One second.
Instructions receive. I serve.
I'll start explaining stuff here in a second.
Your will
We
be
command
done.
Dredendor!
Hold on.
Sworn ever to yourselves when at peace and when at war.
I submit.
Don't I have another one?
I am a servant to the Emperor.
Yeah, I'll explain stuff here in a second.
I am consecrated to the Imperium.
These sisters have a lot of upgrades,
Our Emperor gives us strength.
so they are weaker than Space Marines, but I think they have more upgrades than Space Marines. I'll go ahead and build a turret just to make this easier.
Instructions receive. I submit.
Strike you
To
down!
specification. I humbly await orders.
If I build the turrets, I can talk about them and I can show them off at the same time.
We command Dredendor!
Oh, now that these guys are injured, I can show you the heal ability. So I'll show that off here in a second. Once I get done with this battle, I can talk about the Canonus.
Sworn ever to yourselves.
Alright, so the Canonus... I can finally talk about the Canonus. The Canonus
Burning fervor guides us.
is your... You know, you see her on the posters, she's the face of the game, she's the cover girl, you see her, you know, anytime you see advertising, they seriously set it to domination.
Onward! I am consecrated to the
So you see her a lot, she's pretty, you know, she's pretty famous. She's 200 resources, 40 power. She has 2 abilities. These 2 abilities you have to unlock, but they show you she has abilities. It's gonna be a long video. I'm really just I put it on easy so they wouldn't attack me. All right.
I remain a humble missionary.
Alright, so I talked about the sisters. Okay,
6
Canonus.
minutes until take and hold victory.
I am a servant to the Emperor.
Alright, so I built the turrets. I'll talk about the turrets. Okay, so sisters done, missionary done, Canonus. Okay, so Canonus is 200. Is 200 resources, 40 power. She's your starting commander. She's your level 1 commander. Power sword and a bolter. Are you serious?
Discipline and devotion never falter. Show no mercy.
I just wanna play make this video.
Instructions I receive.
Okay.
Build protocol confirmed.
I'm gonna have to make more army. Just so I can get the computer off my butt.
We know our place.
See, it's hard to
Praise the Emperor!
explain strategy when the
5
freaking.
minutes until take and hold victory.
Alright,
Adeptus Sororitas, prepared to serve.
so long story short,
Darkness.
I'm
Praise the Emperor! We are servants
gonna have
of
to
the
make this
God
short because
Emperor.
I don't want the, you know. Okay, long story short, do not make her.
Thou shalt not.
She's cheaper than most commanders, but she does very low damage.
Thou shalt not. I shall.
She does high damage with upgrades, but it takes a while to get the upgrades. Like it's gonna take you like at least like 2 or 3 minutes to get the upgrades. So she's not strong at first. She is a pretty good
Come, my
bullet
sisters.
sponge,
Come, my sisters.
but she's just not good at fighting. So honestly, the Candace,
4
don't buy her
minutes
at
until
level
taking
1,
hold victory.
and honestly, just don't buy
It
her.
is a judgment.
She's not very useful. She does have one useful ability. So when she's alive, you gain increase faith. So right here, if you read that second to bottom line, it says increase faith while she's alive. Now I'll explain the faith mechanic. That's what makes sisters sisters. Now faith is extremely powerful, like extremely powerful. So so you have to click on this. You have to click on your listening post. There's a banner here. The first one is 25. The second one is gonna be like 60. The third one is gonna be like
3
100.
minutes until taking
That's how
hold
that works.
victory.
So each one, so each upgrade represents one of these bars. So I'll buy this upgrade, and this first bar will be unlocked. And then I'll buy this one, and then this second bar will be unlocked. See how this one's 105? This one's 25, this one's 105, see that? Then I'll buy this one, and then this third bar will be unlocked. So in order to gather faith, you have to unlock it by buying it. It's pretty cheap, and it's very powerful. So I'd recommend buying it every time, basically. You should always always upgrade the
2
ones in the
minutes
corners,
until taking hold
not the ones on the
victory.
front lines. If the one on the front lines gets destroyed, that's a lot of resources you're throwing away. So I'll go ahead and upgrade these so I can talk about them. So these are your upgraded listening posts. Oh yeah, once you gather enough faith, you'll unlock his
I
ability,
am a servant to the
which is
Emperor.
15. See how it's black now? And any second. There it is. I can use his ability. His ability will heal any squad he's attached to. So if I can find that injured squad,
The Emperor, our father and
they might have already healed. Okay, if they were injured, he would have healed them.
I am a servant to the
His
Emperor.
healing isn't the
1
strongest,
minute until taking
but just
hold
having
victory.
healing in general is really good. I really hope the computer caps. I really hope the computer caps that. Don't tell me it won't. Alright, I might have to start over. This might be a failure of a video. Okay, so anyways, I will tell you tips and tricks
30
on what not to do
seconds
from
until
someone who's
taking hold
been playing
victory.
Sisters for hours. But I just, the computer and everything going on. Oh yeah, I didn't even explain the army. I will explain the armory here in a second. I'm just going to go ahead and restart it. Okay, so your missionary is your dedicated capper and scout. He's also your dedicated detector. Sister of Battle Squad is your dedicated troop choice. They're your dedicated, fighters. They're also pretty good at capping. They're not the best scouts. Their vision isn't as big. Sisters have a lot of upgrades, so your level 1 units will eventually become very powerful. The Candace is your starting commander, and I wouldn't recommend buying her because she loses to every commander in the
I
game.
am equipped for that.
So I just would not recommend you know,
I serve.
I would not recommend buying her in pretty much any situation. The only reason you want to buy the Canoness
I serve.
is so you can gather faith quickly. I think the Canoness is the best at gathering faith,
Who, missionary?
as far as I know.
To the Imperium.
So I'll go ahead and rebuild these. I'll try to remember not to capture these. I forgot I had domination on.
Missionary. Here to serve. To the Imperium.
So I'll just make these. I won't talk about them the second time, just to show them off. So as sisters, there's a lot of things you can do at level 1. So
Sisters of battle reporting.
all the stuff you can do at level 1 is going to take me a while to explain.
Never triumph.
And the tempest. Emperor, deliver us. Sworn ever to your
So I'll go
service
ahead
when
and
at
get enough
peace and when at war. I
resources.
have made it holy ground.
So
Sworn
yeah,
ever
he's
to
your
your service when at peace and
healer.
when at war.
He's your scout. He's your capper. You can upgrade him.
Onward!
He's very
Let me
useful.
be a beacon to the lost.
He also has 700 health, which is more than most units in the game.
Ye bear the
So that's useful too.
Emperor's
I
fight.
humbly await orders. To specification, it's your will.
So I'll tell you right now, I pretty much never get the armory at level 1. I always get the armory at level 2.
I lead.
If you get the armory at level 1, it does make your units a lot better, but your units are so fragile that the upgrades won't really matter.
Our father and guardian.
So yeah, as you know, the experienced sister player, I never make the armory level 1. It's not worth getting.
I humbly await orders.
Now,
I am equipped for that.
I'll tell you which upgrades you should buy and what upgrades you shouldn't buy.
Heresy and
And I'll go over that here in a
I
second.
shall secure it for the Emperor.
Discipline and devotion never falter. Witchcraft, heresy, and mutation.
Alright.
We go.
So I think I talked about... Okay, so another thing you can do with Canoness,
We command
she has Purifying Light, which costs 30 faith. It takes a really long time to get 30 faith. It's not like an instant thing. So if you don't have her out, if she's not alive, it's +1. If she is alive, it's +2.8. So if you buy her, your faith income like triples. You see that? So you want to buy her. And I'll just go ahead and keep...
Be it your will.
I'm just going to keep making stuff. Okay.
Instructions.
So I'll go ahead and buy this stuff. I'll try to get back to where we were. Okay. But I think I talked... Okay, so she has this blind. So this blind reduces the accuracy of all units near her. So she has to be close in close combat to use this. So this will greatly reduce their accuracy, which will help you win a fight. The problem is you have to make the Canoness to use this, and the Canoness is bad. And this costs 30 faith, which is a lot. 30 faith is the same as 2 healers. So you can either have 2 healers or 1 blind. And the blind covers about this big of a space, which is pretty big.
I remain pure.
But it's not very useful. It's not very useful at all. So I'll go ahead and make the turrets again so I can talk about them. Because every faction has different turrets. So that's just something I thought we'd talk about. I should be able to make Seraphim. Yeah, I should be able to make Seraphins. So Seraphims are your hit and run unit. They're your distraction unit. Seraphims do good damage against anything. They're also very mobile. Mobile. They're your mobile unit. They're for hit and runs. They're for distractions. Once they're upgraded, they'll gain a support ability. So they're also your support unit.
We are the wings of the Sisters of Battle. Without devotion, we are
They're a
nothing.
very flexible unit.
Hymns of battle.
The only problem with Seraphims is they only have like 2 upgrades. So they're very powerful, but they only have like 2 upgrades. Your sister unit will have a lot of
Emperor gives us
upgrades,
strength.
so you don't have to worry about that.
I can hear the Emperor whisper.
So right now, the Canoness has a power sword
Thou shalt not.
and a bolt
I
pistol,
shall.
but you can upgrade her weapon and her gun 2 times. And I'll show. And even if you upgrade the sword 2 times and the gun 2 times, she's still not great.
Serve.
Oh, another thing I
am
forgot to
equipped
mention.
For that.
This light does 3 things. No, two things. This light does 2 things. So the first thing it does is it unlocks one of these bars. The second thing this light does is it actually detects units.
It is a judgment.
So not only, so basically what the light does is it increases your detection range. So if you have one of these with the banner, this one in the corner, if you give this the banner, it'll detect a unit like over here. It'll increase your detection range. These turrets already have detection, but if you put the banner on them, it'll increase their detection.
I submit.
It's very useful.
I am a servant of the Emperor.
It's very useful.
Sisters, aerial assault.
I serve. Your will
See here.
be done.
It's very useful when you make a forward base.
I serve. I am equipped for that.
When you make a forward, I'll show you. So I'll show you the damage these girls do. It's not bad damage, right? So they're really good at killing level 1 units, and they're really, really good at destroying buildings. That's basically what they excel at. Seraphims destroy buildings really, really quickly. There we go. I won that fight.
I serve.
Alright. Put some more turrets here. Okay. So, that's Seraphims. They do good damage against everything. They're very mobile. They're a very useful unit. The only problem is they're very expensive. Not only do they cost 50 resources, they also cost 5 power each. So you'll go for your power really quickly if you make these. They're a very powerful unit. This is your turret. So, as you can see, and this is a perfect example. The damage on this level 2 turret is just awful. I think this is the weakest turret in the game. As you can see, it's just, the damage on this thing is just awful. So honestly, I'd honestly recommend not upgrading these, because the damage is just so bad. I only upgraded these so I can show you what it looks like. But yeah, the damage on these things are just, I'm pretty sure that this is the weakest level 2 listening post in the game. Now what's hilarious is these Inferno turrets. These Inferno turrets actually do more damage. I'm not sure why. Usually this is your main focus, this is your main source of damage, and this is your support damage. But for some reason, Sisters is backwards. This does a lot of damage per second. This does like 0 damage per second.
Without devotion, we are
So, So if I were you, I would not upgrade these, like at all, and I would actually build these. These do more damage. It's hard to show it off right now, but trust me, these do more
I
damage.
humbly await orders.
Oh, and I can talk about
Immediately.
the builder's ability. So these engineers, these servitors, have the ability to dismantle. If you click this button, and then you click a building, if you click this button, and you click a building, they'll do building damage, and their building damage is actually decent. They can't one-shot a building, but they can take I think it's percentage. Their damage is not flat. Their damage, they do different amount of damage to everything. So I think it's percentage. I think they do percentage damage. I want to say they do 30% damage to a building. So if you have 3 builders, if you have 3 of these guys, that should be enough to destroy a building. I do know if you pick 3 of these guys and you try to destroy a barracks, like one of these, they can. 3 of these guys I think is enough to destroy a barracks, which is pretty powerful. Yeah, these guys are really, really good at destroying buildings. You do need like 3 of them. And builders are really important to build stuff. So it's not an easy thing it's not an easy strategy to pull off. This is your population upgrade. I'm just gonna go ahead and max that out. This doesn't. Every faction has this. For sisters is in the barracks. So I'm not really gonna talk about that. It'll just increase your population. This is your armory. Like I said, I would not recommend making the armory level 1. It just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything useful. So these are your level 1 upgrades. You got the sword upgrade. Now, level 1, this will only upgrade the canonists. So I'll go ahead and buy that. This upgrade is not very good. It's decent. The Sister swords aren't as good as the Space Marine swords. So it's not a great upgrade. The Infernal Pistol. The Infernal Pistol is like the poison blades for Dark Eldar. You need the Infernal Pistol when you play Sisters. The Infernal Pistol will like double your long range damage. It's a massive upgrade. Now this Infernal Pistol only works for commanders and your leaders or your superiors. Yeah, superiors. So this only affects your commanders and superiors. So you want to make superiors all the time. The more superiors you have, the more damage you do. So I'll go ahead and buy that. Show that off.
Thou shalt not.
This is a sword upgrade. He goes from a sword to like a torch. Like I said, it's not a massive upgrade. It barely makes her stronger. This upgrade here is interesting, but this is another one of those upgrades I just would not recommend buying in pretty much any situation. There's no situation where you would buy this. So what this upgrade does is it actually upgrades your buildings. It'll add a button to them. This button will recover your unit's morale. The problem with this button is your units already have really high morale. Like your units have pretty high morale already, and this upgrade will make it better. And I've been playing Dawn of War a lot. I played like I want to say 20 sister matches. I want to say I played 20 sister matches, and they never once lost morale. So morale is not a big deal in this game. What's another thing that's interesting about this upgrade? It will also this also applies to your vehicles. it will make your vehicles gain this ability, where if you press the button, it will restore your unit's morale. So I'll go ahead and buy that and show that off. Now I will say one thing, the range on this thing is really short. You basically have to be touching the building. Like the range is like that. You have to be touching the building for this ability to activate. And it's really expensive too. It's 75 resources, 50 power, which is a lot for an upgrade that does basically nothing. So yeah, you should pretty much never ever buy this upgrade in any situation. So here's the upgrade. It changes your buildings physically, which is pretty cool. I do admit the upgrade makes the buildings look better. This is the other upgrade, plus ammunition. You should pretty much never buy this upgrade. What it does is it upgrades your sister battle guns, and the upgrade it gives them is it allows them to ignore cover. So the enemy is standing here. Instead of gaining that cover bonus, they'll ignore it. The problem with this is Sisters does less damage than most factions. So if you try to win this fight, you'll lose because Sisters do low damage. And if you try to win this fight and while they're in cover, you'll also just lose because Sisters do low damage. So you'll lose this fight no matter what, which is why this upgrade is useless. And also cover isn't huge. I think it's only like 10%. So you're spending like 200 resources to make your weapons 10% better. You'll never buy this upgrade ever. Also, this upgrade only affects cover. So it only affects this part of the map and this part of the map, and that's it. So you have to stand here and here for this upgrade to work. I'll go ahead and show you the button. I can find there it is. It'll add this button. That's what it does. This will restore your unit's morale. And again, you have to be like point blank for this to work. It's very hit and miss. Sometimes, and I'll go ahead and upgrade the flamer so I can show you the flamer. Now, the sister flamer is not better than the Space Marine. I think all flamers are the same. The Orc flamer, the Space Marine flamer, and the sister flamer, I think they're all the same. What makes sisters unique is they can have 3 of them. Now, if you buy 3 of them, that's pretty expensive when you think about it. It will make your squad a lot better, but it's pretty expensive, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would recommend buying 1, because if you buy 1, your damage output will go up pretty high. So what else is there to do at level 1? So at level 1, you also get fire grenades. These fire grenades will upgrade your sisters of battle, and their fire grenades are really, really good. They won't one-shot anything, but they're pretty good. It's 25 resources, 75 power, which is a lot for level 1. So I wouldn't really recommend buying this unless you are just swimming in economy. So yeah, I wouldn't really recommend buying this upgrade.
I submit.
So just go ahead and build more stuff.
I submit. I am
And I'll show off the fire grenades. So the fire grenades are just simply fire grenades. See? That's all there is to it. I think that's it for level 1. So I'll go ahead and hit the level 2 button. Now for level 2, you only need the armory or the barracks. You don't need both. So I'd recommend just making the barracks, and that's it. Like I said, the barracks are your most important building by a long shot. Oh, and I gotta talk about the mine. The mines are super
Build
cheap for some
protocol
reason.
confirmed.
They're only 25, which is way cheaper than everybody else's. And not only are they cheaper, they're just as good as everyone else's. Instead of doing explosive damage, they do fire damage. And the damage these things do is actually pretty good. So
I
sisters have very
submit.
unique mines. They're pretty good. Oh, I know why they're cheaper. So the reason they're cheaper is because they only activate once. They only activate once. So for Space Marine mines, if you stand on top of them, they'll activate like 5 times before they blow up. Sister mines, I think they only activate once and then they blow up. So these mines don't last as long as other mines in the game. And I think that's pretty much it for level 1. I think I talked about everything. Are you level 2 now? Okay, you're level 2. I can talk about the level 2 stuff.
I
So,
humbly await
level
orders.
2 is when sisters
Your
really
will
shine.
be done. I humbly await orders.
The level 2 is... Oh, this is your vehicle factory. This is your vehicle factory. I'll explain that in a minute. Your vehicle factory is not as important as your, barracks. Your Holy Rectory. Your Holy Rectory is to upgrade your commanders.
Your will be done.
This building here is dirt cheap. The upgrades this building has is not very good. But you need to build it to upgrade your sisters. This is full of commander upgrades, and just buying this building. You need to buy this building in order to make superiors, and the superiors are like the source of your damage. So you need to buy superiors. Superiors are really good. You should buy these all the time. Now, sisters have 3 vehicles to choose from at level 2, and I'll talk about those in a minute. I can also upgrade these turrets again. I can show you what they look like at level 2. So I'll go ahead and do that. Now, the level 2 upgrade is very disappointing. Normally, level 2 buildings, level 2 turrets are way stronger than the level 1 versions, but they're not really. The sister turrets are terrible. Sisters is not a defensive faction. If you want to play defense, Sisters is not for you. It really is. It's really not. They're not a defensive faction at all. Alright. Alright. So, once this building is built, you can buy your second commander. Now, your second commander is the one you want to buy all the time. He's your strongest unit. Your second commander is one of the strongest units in the game. So I'd recommend buying him as soon as you can, because he really is one of the strongest units in the game. At level 2, you unlock Celestians. I'll explain those in a second. And you also explain Death Cult Assassins, and I'll explain those in a second. So I'll just save you some time. Never make Death Cult Assassins. They're not worth it. They're too expensive. They're just too expensive for what they do. Celestian Squads, you should always buy Celestian Squads, because they're also one of the strongest units in the game. Confessor is one of the strongest units in the game, and Celestians are one of the strongest units in the game. And Sisters of Battle, fully upgraded. If you fully upgrade these girls, they're also really powerful. So Sisters can actually do a lot of damage. So I'll explain. I'll make the vehicles real quick. So I'll explain this real quick. Rhinos are pretty good. They're not great. What makes them terrible is they can only carry like one squad, and most vehicles can carry 2 squads. Like if I put a squad in here,
I serve the Emperor.
see, he's already full.
Enough with sitting still. The best
So rhinos
people
are really bad at
ranks.
carrying stuff, which makes them not very useful. What makes the rhino great is it has a gun, and any vehicle with a gun is pretty good, in my opinion. Oh yeah, and you'll notice this orange ring.
No one is
What this orange ring is it indicates a damage increase. All units with this orange ring has a 10% more damage increase. So this damage increase doesn't really affect small squads. The increase is very small. But if you put this guy on a bigger squad, the bigger the squad, the bigger the increase, which is very nice. Immolators. Immolators are equipped with very powerful flamethrowers. They have a lot of health per vehicle. I'll just go ahead and show it off.
I serve.
I think he died.
I will make it whole.
See, they should be dying way quicker. This is a level 2 building, they're barely dying. So there's the flamethrowers. The immolator is actually good. It does pretty good damage to pretty much anything. The problem is it's really expensive, and it's really hard to protect. Like it's really expensive. It costs the same as a Defiler, and it's only good at short range combat, while the Defiler is good at everything. So the immolator is not very useful. I had to buy a population increase. For sisters, their population increase is right here. Okay. So rhinos, you should only make like 2 of them. They're really good at soaking up damage, and they're really good at dealing damage, but they're really bad at transporting. So you don't use rhino transports the way you think you should use them. You think you'd use these to transport your army, but you don't. They're really bad at transporting stuff. Okay.
We
So
have excelled
Celestians
at battle.
start out
We
as normal
imitate all
Sisters of
before
Battle.
us.
They have the same guns, they have the same everything. Why is this a level 2 unit? Because these girls have a lot of upgrades.
We immolate all
Once these
before
girls are
us.
fully upgraded, they become like the strongest unit in the game, pretty much. So I'll go ahead and upgrade them. So the Celestian Superior is the same Celestian over here. So that I don't have to explain. I already explained the Superior. They're very powerful. Meltagun. Meltaguns are like plasma pistols, and they're anti-armor. So I'll go ahead and buy that.
I serve the Emperor. The best
Multi-meltas.
fulfill our ranks.
Multi-meltas, I believe, is for people. I'm not 100% sure. So this is 15 resources. This is 30. So these are twice as expensive. So here's the lasers. These weapons shoot lasers, and they deal very high vehicle damage. One squad of Celestians can kill a Defiler in like 5 seconds. So their vehicle damage is extremely high. Multi-meltas. Multi-meltas, I believe, are for people. It's like an so this is your anti-vehicle weapon, multi-gun. And this is your anti-people gun, the multi-melta. I know it's kind of confusing. They're both meltas. But the left one is for vehicles, the right one is for people. I I always recommend getting these upgrades because these upgrades will like double your damage basically. The image fire upgrade. In order to get the image fire, you need the reliquary, which is why you should always build it. You should always build the reliquary. The image fire. The image fire does not have a weapon. What the image fire does is it basically like increases your Celestian health. So when you buy this, you're not increasing your attack, you're increasing your defense. So when you buy the image fire, it'll increase your squad's defense, which is very, very good. The defense increase is actually pretty huge, so it's worth getting. It is very expensive. 75 resources for a defense increase is a lot. I recommend getting this. It's a really big upgrade. Lightning fighters. Lightning fighters they look like bombers, but they're not. Lightning fighters are really good at killing planes. They have a lot of anti-aircraft weapons on them. They're really good at killing planes. And their weapons that they have is for killing people. They're equipped with anti-infantry weapons. So this is an anti-infantry. This is a very mobile anti-infantry vehicle. It's pretty good. It has low health. 2100 for a plane is pretty low for most planes have 3000 health. This plane only has 2000. Its damage isn't crazy high, but its damage is high enough that you'll get kills. It's pretty good in the 1-on-1 fight and the 2v2 fight. It will not win a 3v3 fight. So if you see 3 dudes, it will lose. So this lightning fighter is pretty good, but it's not great against. It's not good against buildings. It's not good against vehicles. It's only good for people, which isn't very useful. I make lightning fighters all the time on big maps. This is your big map go-to vehicle. I think I already explained the upgraded turrets. They're not very good. You can upgrade these turrets to anti-vehicle, but the anti-vehicle damage is pretty bad. It's not something to really talk about. The damage, if you upgrade this turret, the damage increase is not noticeable. So even though this is a level 2 upgrade, it does about as much damage as level 1. Oh yeah, this thing has an upgrade. So the emulator has an upgrade. We can upgrade its fire weapons. You can upgrade the flamethrower. So instead of a flamethrower, it's like a laser flamethrower. This upgrade actually increases its damage by a lot, and it's actually very useful. This is a really good upgrade, but this is a close range only vehicle, which makes its uses very limited. It's a very limited use vehicle.
I will make it whole.
It's a close range tank, which isn't very useful at all in this kind of game. It's also really expensive. So that's it for your level 2 vehicles. Down here, for 100 resources and 75 power, you get an upgrade for your emulators. Now this upgrade will only upgrade your emulators, and what it does is it gives them a spin attack. And this spin attack only lasts like 2 seconds. So you're spending like 200 resources for an attack that lasts only like 2 seconds. It's not a good upgrade at all, in my opinion. It's pretty much a useless upgrade. It's not a really good upgrade at all. Crack grenades. This will upgrade your Seraphims and Celestians. crack grenades, I think, also do percent damage. I think crack grenades deal like 25% damage. So if you see a building and you throw a crack grenade at it, it'll take away like 25% of its health, which is quite a big chunk. So now shooting blue lasers. The blue lasers do a lot of damage. The blue lasers are actually, like, the fire on this thing isn't very scary, but if you upgrade this, it'll actually be scary, and it'll actually do a lot of damage. I'll show you the spin move. The spin move is really bad. This is the spin move. As you can see, it's extremely short range. It only lasts like a second. It's like 200 resources for that. It's good against melee units. That's about it. And once people figure out you shouldn't melee this vehicle, they'll never melee it again, which makes this upgrade useless. So this upgrade is useless. The bolter upgrade is useless, and this building upgrade is useless.
I remain pure.
Missionaries have 700 health, but if you buy, I think it's this one. If you buy this upgrade, it's a morale upgrade. It'll increase their morale by a small amount. But if you buy this upgrade, it'll actually upgrade your missionaries.
Inspire me.
If you buy this upgrade, your missionaries will go from 700 health to 1400 health. Now they're still really bad at killing stuff, like really bad. But having double the health is very useful. And because missionaries are your scout, you always want to have missionaries. You want to buy a lot of missionaries. You should always have missionaries in your army. So having a missionary upgrade is very useful, and I buy this all the time. So I'll go ahead and buy this. It's a morale upgrade. It's pretty useful. This here upgrades your commanders. This is extremely useful because in Sisters you basically want to make only commanders. Because commanders are your source of your damage. The regular units do like no damage, but your commanders do a lot. So commanders are the source of your damage. So this is a really important upgrade. And like I said earlier, Sisters is a infantry heavy faction. It's not a vehicle faction, that's for sure. Vehicles are the weak point of Sisters. So yeah, I would recommend getting this upgrade. It'll make your commanders really good. You want to make commanders a lot because they're really powerful. So yeah, this is a very important upgrade. This upgrade here will increase the amount of heavy weapons you can have. This isn't very useful. I think it increases your flamethrowers from 3 to 5, which isn't very useful. And it'll increase your heavy weapons from 3 to 5, which is also not very useful. So it's a cheap upgrade, but it's not a useful one. So this is another one I would skip. Oh yeah, you did upgrade I should say unlock. You did unlock the heavy bolter.
They walk in darkness.
The heavy bolter on Sisters, it's not bad, but I don't think I really don't think bolters just fit their playstyle. Sisters is like a mobile faction. They want to be moving all the time, and for you to use this weapon, you have to stand still. So I really just don't think this fits their playstyle. Well, Sisters is extremely aggressive in your face faction. So I really just don't think this fits their playstyle. You can buy it, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you had to choose anything, I'd get the flamethrowers. The flamethrowers have short range, but they do a lot of damage, and they do morale damage, which is very useful. The flamethrowers are actually really useful in this game. So I'd get that.
Do not oppose the Emperor's
Did I ever explain the
will.
Confessor? So the Confessor gives everyone a damage upgrade by being near him.
Cleanse
He's
all
also a detector, so
impurities.
he'll detect invisible units, like the assassin. The assassin's invisible unit, he can detect her.
Do not oppose the
His
Emperor's
mace
will.
is weird. His mace has a 25% to slow. I think it also has a 25% to stun. His mace is really, his weapon's really weird. He has pretty low health, even with the health upgrade. So I wouldn't recommend. He's not good at fighting. He's not a good fighter. So is the Candidates. They're both really bad fighters. So yeah, sisters, you should never get into a commander fight with them. You'll always lose that fight.
Aye, sir.
So yeah, you should never get into a commander fight with sisters. The Force commander can kill her pretty easy. The Orc commander can kill him pretty easy. You just do not get into a fight with these two. They die instantly. Oh, this is the blind.
Heresy and mutation.
I'll show you what the blind looks like. That's the blind. That's what it looks like.
No one
Smite.
is above
This is
suspicion.
Emperor's Wrath. It looks like this. It's basically a nuke. I'll show that off. This is basically a nuke. I believe it does 500 damage to anything that's inside it. And 500 damage is enough to one-shot. I think it's enough to one-shot 90% of the units in the game. So yeah, this ability right here is 35 faith. So you have to upgrade these things to use it. But this ability here is enough to one-shot like 90% of the things in the game. So it's very powerful. The reason you make the Confessor is so you can one-shot stuff with this. He's a very this is the kind of ability that wins you games. Like I said, the faith abilities are very powerful. The Confessor also has other upgrades, and I'll talk about those in a second. The Death Call Assassin. I'll talk about Death Call Assassin real quick. So she's invisible. She's a melee focused character. Or she's melee only. So what's unique about her? If she attacks a unit with low health, she'll instantly kill it. She only does like 80 damage per swing, so it takes her like a minute to kill something. But if she sees a unit, like take her for example. I'm gonna take her for example. She has 1900 health. If she drops to like 600 health, say she has 600 health, this girl will one-shot her. Yeah, that's her special ability. If she has 600 health, this girl here will one-shot her, which is very useful. Basically, the Death Call Assassin is designed to kill commanders.
I am death.
So she does 80 damage normally to regular units, but if she attacks a commander, she does bonus damage. It's not listed, but it's something that's listed in the wiki. If you look at the wiki, she does bonus damage to commanders. Now, that all sounds nice, but the situations you'll actually do that is slim to none. The way I use her, because it's basically impossible to get close to a commander without, a lot of effort. Basically because it's impossible to get close to your commander, I don't use these as commander killers. I use these as scouts. That's how I use these girls. And I also use them as defense. So say this point here, say this point is under command control, I'll make one of these girls and I'll have them defend it. Every faction only has like 2 detectors. some factions have 3 detectors. So for this area here, to have a detector is actually very low. Chances of them having a detector is very low. So I'll send her in as a scout, and I'll scout this area out. That's the way I use them. I don't use them to kill stuff. I use them to scout and defense areas. That's how you should be using them.
Sworn to the secrets of the death cult.
You should only really make 1. You only need 1 or 2. You really don't need more than 1. If you have more than 1, you're kind of overkilling it. So yeah, you only need 1 of them. You never make more than 1. What else am I missing? Armory. Okay, the armory, level 2 armory is way better than the level 1 armory. The level 1 armory is really bad. Level 2 armory is actually really good. So at level 2, you unlock the health upgrade for basically everyone. Everyone will receive a health upgrade if you buy this, and it's only 100 resources, so it's dirt cheap, and all your units will get a health upgrade. It's extremely useful. You should buy this every time you play the game. This is the second melee upgrade. When you get the second melee upgrade, you actually start doing pretty high melee damage. It's not insane melee damage, but it's pretty useful. Oh, where's the Seraphins at? Oh, I think they died. The Seraphins have another thing I gotta show you. They unlock something at level 2, and I'll show you that real quick. I think that's everything for level 2. I don't think I'm missing anything. This is what the level 2 turret looks like. The only thing that changes is the barrel, and that's it. Only the barrel changes. So there's the health upgrade.
We are the wings of the Sisters of Battle.
I did buy the morale upgrade, so the missionary should have 1400 health.
I remain
There it is.
pure.
So he has 1400 health. Again, he will not kill stuff. Do not expect him to kill anything. He's mostly just there as a distraction. This is basically your distraction unit, and he's also your medic. So he's your distraction medic scout unit. He has a lot of uses, which is why the missionary is so important.
Up high.
So at level 2, you get crack grenades. Crack grenades are very useful. It won't one-shot buildings or vehicles, but it'll do massive damage to them, which makes fights easier. Seraphims do good damage to everything in the game, but you know, it helps to have more damage. At level 2, you gain this ability, Angelic Visage. Now what's unique about this ability is you don't need Faith to activate it. This is just a free upgrade. Once you hit level 2, this ability will unlock, so you don't need to upgrade these to unlock this. And what it does is it makes your allies immune to morale damage, which isn't very useful, but it also gives them a damage increase. And I believe the damage increase stacks with his damage increase. So if you have one of him and one of her, you'll have double damage increase, which is pretty big deal. Sisters do not have that many health increases, but they have a lot of damage increases. There's another damage increase at level 3. So sisters have a lot of damage increases. What else at level? Oh, at level 2, you gain a missionary upgrade, which is this ability, Emperor's Touch. Now, Emperor's Touch is like your go-to faith ability. This ability will win you games. This is probably, I think, in all honesty, this is probably your best ability. If you're going to buy any upgrade, this is the one you want to buy. It's 50 faith, so it's not cheap. You have to get 50 faith. I would recommend buying a Canonist
destruction.
so you can have 50 faith faster.
Come, my sisters.
The candidate sucks at fighting,
Come, my sisters.
but at least you
Come,
can
my
get
sisters.
50 faith really quick.
Sisters, fight by
Um,
my side.
here, I should probably make just, I'll make one more. Okay, so yeah. So, Emperor's Touch upgrade. This will upgrade your missionary,
I am a servant
which is right
to
here.
the Emperor.
This upgrade is basically mandatory if you want to win as sisters.
Prepared to serve.
What it does is it
Let
makes
me
every
be a
bolter.
beacon to the lost.
Basically, what this ability does is it makes every bolter a multi-melta, and you can have like a 12-man squad. So multi-meltas do insane damage to vehicles,
Celestial squad, ready
and if you have a 12-girl squad, this will upgrade. If you activate this, they'll change those 12 bolters into 12 multi-meltas, and those 12 multi-meltas will basically one-shot anything. I'll show it off here. So this is I'll show off the heal. But I don't think I don't think I showed the heal off. This is the heal. The heal is pretty good. It's not the best heal in the game, but it's pretty useful. It'll help you win fights. This is basically what it's used for. It's used to help you win fights. Now this build here, I'll show you this. So it gives everyone in the squad a multi-melta. I know they don't look like multi-meltas, but they are. And these multi-meltas will melt. If there was a vehicle right here, it would just die. This ability just like one-shots vehicles. This if you activate this ability, you'll start one-shotting vehicles. You'll one-shot buildings. You one-shot anything with armor. You'll start like one-shotting commanders. Commanders have armor. You'll start one-shotting. If you activate this ability, you'll just like one-shot like anything. If you put these 12 girls in a orc base that's filled with buildings, the orc buildings have low health, and if you activate this ability and give them all multi-meltas, they'll just slaughter. They'll just absolutely slaughter the orc base. You can destroy like 5 or 6 banners like instantly. So yeah, this ability, if you activate this ability, this one squad of sisters can kill like 6 banners, which is a pretty big deal. So I'll go hit the level 3 button. Now level 3, I think you only unlock 2 things. It's not a huge increase. I'm pretty sure you only unlock 2 things. I'll have to double check. You don't. So something I do with sisters a lot, and this is probably my biggest mistake. Honestly, if you play sisters, I would recommend not going level 3, because when you hit level 3, you only unlock like 2 things, which is not worth it. When I hit level 2, I unlocked like 10 things. When you hit level 3, you only unlock like 2 things, which is not worth it. So when you hit level 3, you unlock a vehicle. Not this one. You unlock this one. This vehicle is worth getting. Basically, you build. The only reason to build this, because these 3 are useless. You shouldn't. These 3 vehicles are useless. The only reason you should build this building is for this. This is your artillery, and artillery is good all the time. It doesn't matter what map it is, it doesn't matter what faction it is. Artillery is always good. So once this hits level 3, I can buy that. There we go. You should always buy Exorcist. Now, Exorcists don't do high damage, but because it's artillery, and artillery stuns infantry. Basically, you buy this for the stun. See, it's cheaper than emulator, and it's just better than emulator. So this is an exorcist. It's your artillery unit, and it's just better than. It's better than It's your best vehicle by far. You can only have 2 of them, but it's your best vehicle by a long shot. See, this is what this one vehicle is shooting this massive area. See that? This one vehicle is denying access to this whole area, which is why it makes it so good. The second thing this thing does is it lets you do high damage to a building or vehicle. This is called a hunter-killer missile, and it works the same way as a crack grenade. I think it does percentage damage. I think crack grenades do 25% damage to a vehicle or building. I think hunter-killer missiles do 50%. So if you use this on a building, it'll drop it down to 50% health, and then you can use any of these girls to finish it off. So hunter-killer missile plus 2 crack grenades, that's enough to destroy pretty much anything in the game, which is very powerful. What else? So at level 3, you unlock another damage upgrade, which is right here. I don't know why it's in the vehicle factory, but yeah, your infantry upgrade is in the vehicle factory, and it's right here. So this will make all flamers better. Or actually it says, okay, it makes all multi-multas better. So it makes all of the...
Consecrated
to the Imperium.
Let's see here.
We have
It
accepted
makes all of these better. And having more damage is always good. So when you buy these, and then you buy this, it'll make it better. Which is good.
To the hymns of the ecclesiarchy.
Okay.
We immolate all before us.
Oh yeah, something you notice about sisters is every one of their units takes up a very small population amount. So you can have a pretty big army. Repentias is another thing you unlock at level 3. They're your dedicated melee unit. And they're one of the... I want to say that they're one of the worst... They're probably one of the worst melee units in the game. If you play the Warhammer board game, they're amazing. If you play the Warhammer Soulstorm, they're terrible. So not only are they pretty expensive, well actually no, they're not, for a level 3 unit, they're pretty cheap. Most level 3 units are like 300 points. This is 200 points.
Repentia squad, here to serve.
So, Repentias, they're your dedicated melee unit. It says here they do 85 damage per hit, which is pretty good. But what they don't tell you is they're very slow. They're just very, very slow. If you want them to move faster, you hit this button. If you hit this button, they'll move faster. Like this. See, they're moving like twice as fast now. But if you press this button, they'll start taking damage. Which means they'll move faster, but they'll be easier to kill. What's good about Repentias, and this is like the only good thing, is I believe you can have 3 of them. You can have 3 squads, which is pretty strong. Most factions, I think, can only have 2 dedicated melee units. This faction can have 3, so that's pretty good. Again, they're not useful. This is probably the worst. This is probably the worst melee unit in the game. Their damage is incredible. Their damage is actually incredible. They're just so slow, and they take additional damage from all sources. which makes them super useless.
We are the Sisters Repentiast.
Between their slowness and the damage increase, they die super easy. You can. There's two things you can do with Repentos.
No one
You
is
can
above
give them a
faith.
confessor, and if you give them a
Guilty
confessor,
shall not
their damage will go up. Not by a whole lot, but their damage will go up. Or you can give them a missionary, and if you give them a missionary, you can heal them, which is pretty good. I'll go ahead and hit the level 4 button.
Orders.
So, to go level 4 as sisters, you need to build this building here. You want to hide this
With
building,
the Emperor's
because this
permission.
building is
Specification.
surprisingly
I
fragile.
serve.
It's your level 4
To
building, but it's really, really
specification.
fragile.
Be it your will.
Another thing you get at level 4, or level 3, is another missionary upgrade. This ability here costs like 80 faith, so it'll pretty much cost everything. But for 80 faith, you gain a ability that reflects damage, which is great. If I can find the missionary, there we go.
I remain
So,
pure.
missionaries are basically your dedicated healer until level 3.
Let me be a beacon
Once
to
you hit
your
level 3, missionaries become your dedicated, like,
Let me be a
basically,
beacon to the lost.
at level 3, your missionaries become your dedicated, like, suicide unit. You kind of want to suicide your missionary
Right of
because of this reflex ability. I'll show it off. This is what it looks like.
in thy name.
So right now,
Kneel and
if they took
pray.
damage, the enemy would take that damage instead. And that includes turrets, that includes buildings, that includes everything. As you can see, it only lasts like 3 seconds. But for 3 seconds, you gain, I think it makes you immune to damage. And only doesn't make you immune to damage. Actually, I'm not sure if it makes you immune to damage. But it reflects the damage, which is very useful. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this doesn't actually stop the damage you take. So you'll still take damage, but it'll reflect it. So if I send this one squad,
Clear of sight.
what makes this ability good
Light of
is
heart.
if I send this one squad into, say there's like 100 orcs over here, and each orc is shooting at this squad, all the orcs and all the buildings will start taking damage. And if they take enough damage, they'll die. So this one ability makes it so you can destroy this one building basically makes it so you can destroy an enemy base. It's very, very powerful. The problem is, 1 is 70 faith, which is a lot. 2, it's a level 3 upgrade. Going level 3 as sisters is honestly not a good idea, because the level 3 units and upgrades are just not that great. So yeah, it's a great ability. You'll just never use it.
Let me
I never
be
used
a
it once
beacon
in any
to
of my
the
games.
lost.
But yeah, you can put this reflectability on any squad, but it's best used on Repentos. The problem is Repentos suck, so it's a good ability on a bad unit, basically. Is there anything else? Yeah. So this is a Repentos upgrade. If they get near an enemy, they'll charge at it like a Grey Knight. This upgrade is actually good, but it's a good upgrade, but it requires Repentos, and Repentos are just really bad. So it's a good upgrade for a bad unit. You should basically never buy this. Oh, I forgot to tell you. This Rhino.
Guide, guard,
This Rhino has that building upgrade. See that? This will restore your unit's morale. Now, this is actually useful, because you can put your Rhino anywhere on the map, and then restore their morale. That's actually useful. Having it on the buildings, not very useful, but it's, it's better than nothing. What else is there to talk about? Oh, there's another Confessor upgrade, I think. Yeah, I completely forgot about these. I think these are the last thing to talk about, and then I think that's it. This is the second health upgrade. This is very powerful. But by the time you get this ability, usually the game's over. So it's a good ability, but you'll pretty much never get it. So I'd recommend buying this upgrade. Holy Edict is a Confessor upgrade.
Without purity.
This will give him another Faith ability. Now, Holy Edict is one of the best abilities in the game. This is one of the best abilities in the game. It will stun a squad for like 10 seconds. 10 seconds is massive. And not only can they not move, but they can't attack. So this is for like 10 seconds, you can make any squad in the game not be able to attack and not be able to move. It's a very, very powerful upgrade. This upgrade here on the bottom left, this will give you faith anytime a unit dies. Which is very interesting. So anytime one of these girls dies, you'll actually get faith. This is pretty much not worth getting. If you buy this upgrade, in order to use it, your army has to die. So it's not very useful. And even if you do have 100 faith, say you have 100 faith, you still have to wait for the recharge, which is like a minute long. So even if you have like infinite faith, you still can't spam abilities. They won't let you do that. So this upgrade isn't super useful. I don't like it. I don't buy this. Now this is the second morale upgrade. This one's not bad. You can actually buy this one. Now morale upgrades aren't a big deal, but anything that makes your infantry better is good. And this is an infantry faction, so anything that upgrades your infantry is good.
Come, walk by
So this is the 10-second stun ability. You just click the button and you click on a thing. That's all you gotta do for that. Pretty simple. This ability upgrades your Canonist. Now, when you buy this upgrade, your Canonist will actually be able to kill stuff. For 80 faith, which I think is the most expensive. No, it's 85. For 85 faith, this is the Canonist. For 85 faith, she gains the ability to summon 4 ghost things. I don't even know what to call them. She summons 4 units, and those 4 units are like invincible. They don't die, they don't take any damage. Not only do they not take any damage and they don't die, they also do massive melee damage. And because they're impossible to kill, they're perfect shields. I'll show you what they look like when I go fight the computer. But yeah, it's a very, 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 very powerful ability. It does require 85 faith, and it does require the Canonist. And in order to have 85 faith, you have to control... In order to have 85 faith, you need to control like half the map. So you'll pretty much never use this on a 3v3, or even a 2v2, unless it's a massive map. So this ability here, this ability here is honestly map dependent. You might use this in a 1v1, but like I said, in order to use this ability, you need to control like half the map, which isn't easy. It's not an easy thing to do, control half the map. And that's it for that. It's pretty powerful. It'll summon 4 melee units. Now this ability, I will say one thing: these melee units are so good that you can actually win the game. You can win the game if you use this ability. It's a game-ending effect. Now this is your ultimate building. This is your level 4 building. This will unlock your level 4 unit, so I'll go ahead and buy that. And not only does this building unlock your level 4 unit, it'll also unlock your final vehicle, which is this. Pentium engine. Now, Pentium engines are really hard to kill. Now, Pentium engines are your actual dedicated melee unit. Well, I shouldn't say dedicated, because they're really good at long range and they're really good at short range. So this is your actual melee unit. So Repentia are really bad. Pentium engines are actually really good. They do 300 per hit, which is massive, and they also have a flamethrower. Now their flamethrower is just crazy strong. It is a level 4 unit, so you expect it to be strong. But yeah, their flamethrower is it'll kill anything. So if you're in a 1v1 fight, you punch stuff. If you're in like a 2v2 or 3v3 fight, you burn stuff. And that's basically it for Pentium engines. They're very simple. Oh, I forgot this. This is the health upgrade for your vehicles. Even though Sisters isn't a vehicle-heavy faction, I still recommend you buy this every time, because you never know. You never know, when you need more vehicle health. So yeah, this is your vehicle health upgrade. It's in this bottom right corner. Now, here's your ultimate unit, your Living Saint. Now, Living Saint is probably the worst super unit in the game. It has less health than all the super units. And it only has one ability. This one ability lets you shoot fire in a straight line, which is this. It's a very narrow laser, and that fire laser does a lot of damage. I think it's like 400 damage. It's 400 damage when you do that. But the problem is it's so thin. It's really hard to use. The best thing about her is she can jump over anything, like this. See that? She can jump over anything. That's very useful. What's unique about this super unit is you actually have to kill it twice. Your opponent has to kill it twice, which is very annoying. So your opponent has to kill this thing twice to actually kill it. So really this thing has 1200 health, which is the most in the game. I think every super unit has 10,000 health. Because you have to kill her twice, she actually has 1200. Because she's melee only, she's not very useful. Melee units aren't very useful in this game. So really, the way you use her and the way I use her is to not end the game. Usually your super units are used to end the game with. This here, this is your distraction unit. This is your shield. So you go into the enemy. You send her in the enemy base. This is actually one of those units you set and forget. You just send her. You just send her out over here and forget about her, and she'll die. Of course, she'll die twice. That's what you want her to do. You want her to die twice, because it takes like, even if you're like level 3, level 4, it takes like 2 minutes to kill her, and 2 minutes is a lot in this game. 2 minutes is enough to wipe this base out. So you want her to die twice, because it basically gives you 2 minutes to do whatever you want. And that's what makes her good. It gives you 2 minutes to do whatever you want. And that's basically it. I can't really think. I think I talked about everything. This video would be a lot shorter if the computer would stop attacking me. But yeah. Let's see what the vehicle health upgrade is.
Lightning here.
So this one went from 21 to 26. That's not bad.
Can you hear the organs play?
This is 2,000. I can't remember what it was before. So it seems like it adds 500 health to every vehicle, which isn't bad. It's not great. It's not, the greatest vehicle upgrade, but, any upgrade will do work. So yeah, this is your distraction unit. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you. You just go in. If there's something to fight, cool. If there's not,
I am a vessel of the Emperor's wrath.
Sworn ever to your service when at peace and when at war.
So I'll go ahead and
Thou shalt not.
I'll basically just go ahead and end the game because I think I talked about everything. Sisters excel at infantry and they excel at destroying buildings and armor.
Emperor, inspire me.
Now the squads, you can buy a lot of squads, but the squads are small. Like the biggest squad you can make is 12, which is kind of small compared to the other squads in the game. So you can buy a lot of units, but they're going to be small units. Which means it's hard to have map control sisters, and it's hard to win as sisters because you basically need to send your entire army out to kill something. Here, I'll show you this. I'll show you this. I'll show you the Emperor's Touch. This is what I mean by it, like one shot and everything.
I must take heart. Inspire me, Emperor.
Some of them are missing.
Inspire me.
Some of them are missing and it's doing that much damage. But yeah, you see how much damage that thing did? This is why you want Emperor's Touch. It's extremely useful. That's enough for that. I'll show you the Exorcist missile, if I can find the Exorcist again. Let's see.
Forward.
This missile should be strong enough to kill that building. So I'll show you that real quick.
Fury moves among you.
This missile is very useful.
Proceeding.
It won't one-shot anything, but it'll do something.
Fury moves among you. Proceeding.
See if it kills it or not. It did. Okay. That's what I wanted to find out. Now I want to try out this. Actually, I'm not sure if this prevents you from taking damage. So I'm just going to go ahead and try this. I'm actually not sure exactly how Divine Retribution works. So this is something I want to try out.
Emperor, strengthen our resolve. Emperor, strengthen my resolve.
So,
Onward!
okay, so yeah, it doesn't stop you from taking damage. And it's already over. So 70 fate for that, which it wasn't really worth it.
I remain.
And this level 1 turret already killed one of the level 3 sisters. Just to go show you how bad they are. But yeah, like I said, if this whole building if this whole area was filled with infantry and you know, enemies, this reflect damage ability would hit everything. Alright, let's just go ahead and end the game. I think I talked about everything. Basically, you want to make everything in here. Everything in here is useful. Everything. Actually, I take it back. The armory kind of sucks. You don't really need it.
My zeal guide my and by his will.
So this isn't. Oh, this right here is an upgrade for your bolters. So this will upgrade your damage. You should buy this every time. I think this is a level 3 upgrade. For Reliquary, I don't really. You need to build the Reliquary in order to unlock your best units, but I wouldn't recommend buying anything in here. So the Reliquary isn't very useful, and the Sanctuary isn't very useful. I basically just build it so I can unlock the stuff I need.
Can you hear the organ play?
And like I said, you could, use your builders to kill stuff. I'll see if I can test that. If it loads. I'll test this real quick, because I'm not sure how much damage this thing does. And then I'll end the video. Yeah, so for, people watching this, make the barracks, buy like 2 of everything. 2 sister squads, 2 selection, just buy 2 of everything, basically. When you make the vehicle factory, make the rhinos and the exorcists only, because everything else is very useful. I just want to try this. I just want to see if this works. Bam.
I serve the sisterhood.
And bam.
I serve the sisterhood. It's your will.
So yeah, the quality of the sisters is a lot lower than most factions. They're cheaper. So, and most of your units are expendable.
If you will,
which is nice. You don't have to be like, oh, I need this unit to win. Most of your units are expendable.
Immediately. Immediately.
So these engineers shouldn't die instantly.
The spirit sings in me. If you will it. The
make any? There you go.
Sings in me. I am equipped. It's your will. I humbly await orders. Instructions received.
This should work. There we go. So yeah, you can use your builders to kill stuff. You need 3 of them. Alright, there you go. There's your sister tricks and tips. This video would have been a lot shorter if Peter didn't tag me and I had to like restart everything. So there you go. There's your sister tricks and tips video. Most of the units are okay. So this is basically how you play sisters. All the units are useful. Only like half the upgrades are useful. Don't worry about the upgrades. You don't really need them. Just buy infantry. If you buy infantry, you'll be fine. And that's basically it. So there you go. This is my sister how to. I'll try to edit this down a bit. So there you go.